In the heart of a bustling African town, there lived a woman named Annette. Annette was breathtakingly beautiful, the kind of beauty that turned heads wherever she went. Her skin was flawless, her figure enviable, and her smile enchanting. Annette married Baba Grey, a wealthy and kind-hearted merchant. Their union was celebrated as a match made in heaven, the perfect blend of beauty and riches. But as the years went by, the walls of their home remained silent. No cry of a baby ever echoed, and the absence of children became a glaring void. Baba Grey's desire for a child grew stronger with each passing year. He often spoke of the joy and fulfillment that children bring to a family. However, Annette had a different perspective. "I cannot bear to lose my beauty to pregnancy," she would say with conviction, admiring herself in the mirror. She was deeply attached to her appearance, unwilling to let anything, not even motherhood, alter her flawless figure. What Baba Grey did not know was that Annette secretly took pills to prevent pregnancy every time they shared intimacy. Years turned into decades, and Baba Grey's patience wore thin. His once black hair had turned grey, and his face bore the lines of age and disappointment. Neighbors and relatives whispered behind their backs, assuming that Annette was barren. The shame and frustration weighed heavily on Baba Grey. He tried to convince Annette to reconsider, but her answer was always the same: "I don't want to lose my beauty to pregnancy." One fateful evening, Baba Grey sought solace at a small restaurant near his home. It was there that he met Atina, a waitress with a warm and cheerful demeanor. Atina was not as beautiful as Annette, but she exuded kindness and simplicity that drew Baba Grey in. They struck up a conversation, and before long, Baba Grey found himself laughing for the first time in years. Their connection grew, and Baba Grey began to frequent the restaurant just to see Atina. Atina had no idea that Baba Grey was married. She found him charming and attentive, a man who seemed genuinely interested in her. They began dating, and Baba Grey, desperate for an heir, lavished her with gifts and attention. Over time, Atina grew to trust Baba Grey completely. Months into their relationship, Atina discovered she was pregnant. She nervously shared the news with Baba Grey, unsure of how he would react. To her surprise, he was overjoyed. He danced around the room, declaring that his dream of fatherhood had finally come true. Baba Grey supported Atina throughout her pregnancy, attending doctor's appointments and ensuring she had everything she needed. To the world, they appeared to be a loving couple expecting their first child. Atina believed that Baba Grey's commitment to her and their child would lead to something permanent. She envisioned a future where there would be a family, united by love and the baby they were about to welcome. Little did she know, Baba Grey had other plans. After 9 months, Atina gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The delivery was exhausting, and she fell into a deep sleep shortly after holding her baby for the first time. While she rested, Baba Grey cradled the newborn in his arms, tears of joy streaming down his face. The nurses, assuming he was the father, paid little attention as he quietly left the hospital with the child. When Baba Grey arrived home, Annette was shocked to see him with a baby. Her initial reaction was one of disbelief, but Baba Grey explained everything. He told her about Atina, and how he had finally achieved his dream of fatherhood. Annette, who had never wanted to endure the pains of pregnancy, but was not opposed to having a child, welcomed the baby with open arms. She quickly went to the market, buying clothes, toys, and everything the baby could need. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Atina woke to find her baby missing. Panicking, she called for the nurses. "Where is my baby?" she cried. A nurse reassured her, "Your husband took the baby not long ago. He seemed so happy. Don't worry, just call him." Atina dialed Baba Grey's number repeatedly, but the line was no longer connecting. Confusion turned to despair, as she realized she knew almost nothing about the man she had trusted so deeply. She didn't know his full name, his address, or even where he was originally from. All she had were memories of their time together, and the pain of losing her child. Atina returned to the restaurant where she had first met Baba Grey, hoping to catch a glimpse of him or his car. She stood there for hours, her heart breaking with each passing moment. Little did she know that Baba Grey and Annette had already relocated to the United States, starting a new life with the child. Atina's cries became a haunting melody in the town. She wanted to report the incident to the police, but she had no information to give them. The man she thought she knew had vanished, leaving her with nothing but heartbreak and unanswered questions. In their new home, Baba Grey and Annette thrived. The baby brought joy and laughter into their lives, and Annette basked in the admiration of others who praised her for her miracle child. The neighbors who once whispered about their childlessness now marveled at their happy family. Annette, surprisingly, grew fond of motherhood. Though she had refused to carry a child herself, she adored the baby and took pride in her role as a mother. Baba Grey, on the other hand, finally felt a sense of fulfillment. The void that had haunted him for years was now filled, and he looked forward to watching his son grow. Far away, in a quiet corner of their old town, Atina's tears continued to flow. She prayed every night, hoping that one day she would be reunited with her son. Her life became a shadow of what it once was. The restaurant where she had met Baba Grey lost its warmth, and her laughter was replaced with sorrow. Atina's story became a cautionary tale in the town, a reminder of the dangers of misplaced trust and the lengths some would go to fulfill their desires. People spoke of her pain with a mixture of pity and disbelief, unable to imagine the depth of her heartbreak. Years passed, but Atina never stopped searching. She clung to the hope that fate would one day bring her and her child back together. Her story was a testament to resilience and the enduring bond between a mother and her child, even in the face of unimaginable betrayal.